place, and it went to perfection just about in all the ways.
Yeah, we really, through this difficult process at the start of the year, we've talked about staying with the day-to-day, staying with making each day your masterpiece and moving forward. And I said after the game, the thing I was most pleased with was after we lost the Melbourne game at home, the disappointment and how we responded to that the next day, the day after, leading into this. And we felt like last year, the group that we kept, we have a nice chemistry, a nice group, and we feel like the guys that we've brought in are going to take us to playing like we did tonight. And the guy next to me, having him in an environment like this, where you're coming in, the situation with KD tonight, what he's walking into, a new group of men, and having him with the ball in his hand, running the team, controlling the defensive schemes, made me real comfortable on the sideline. And as you say, the bottom line was the defense and the rebounding. We're small, we're undersized. We've lost our two bigs coming into this. Can we compete with that team on the glass, and can we defend? If we can't win. And we did that very well tonight.
What about the job you did on Bryce with Delhi, and then when ball came on as well, you sort of took the ball out of his hands, you took him out of the areas that he likes to be in, you couldn't have done that any better.
Yeah, there's been a lot of conversation, I guess, about the team and the question marks, but one of the things after the Melbourne game was I just think we have a team that can be very elite defensively. And what was disappointing in the Melbourne game was the defensive side of the ball. So it was a real focus coming in tonight, and it's a strength having Bull, having Galloway, having Delhi, having Watch, that all can come in and play a guy like Bryce, who's as good a player ever to play in this league. So it's no easy feat what the guys did tonight, but it was a gang effort. It wasn't one guy. But Bull did a great job in the second half. Just was the size and length was a big factor.
Just off that, Delhi, that's an assignment that you went to first. I feel like that's something that you want to put your hand up for. Was that a discussion during the week? Did you go to Goorjian and say, I want that role on Bryce, or is that a Brian decision?
It's a group discussion, but you know, he's been playing at a very high level to start the season. So yeah, just wanted to try to limit his touches, but I think everyone did. Like no one person can cover him. It's a team coverage, and I think our bigs, everyone off the ball, really executed well defensively. We're on a string, and that's something that we talked about for a couple of days. And yeah, I mean, Timmy, Zave, Quat, really attention to detail, high hands, and you know, JG spent a lot of time on him. Bull, Watch as well. So it was great team effort.
Daly, what did you make of the offense today? It felt over the first few games a little bit clunky, but today it felt like it flowed. You found KD in the spots and with a bit more rhythm. What did you make of it?
Yeah, I mean, I think it. You know, we didn't get a ton of reps in the preseason till the end, so it feels like we're still figuring it out. But I think after that first game, you know, we came in, coaches and players saying like we need to get the ball moving, and I think everyone has done a really good job of that, and we're getting to know where each other likes the ball, and there's a lot of conversations going on. So I think it's only going to continue to improve as the season goes on.
KD came into this game saying he felt nervous, and obviously it's very noisy in here, and there's a lot of attention on him. But how did you approach that as a leader of the team, and how did you sort of guide the group into rallying around him?
I mean, he, you know, knew this was going to be a big game coming in, and you know, he just did a great job of keeping his composure. You know, he had a little bit of foul trouble in that first half, but then in the second half just came down and really executed well, and got some big buckets, and found guys when we needed to get scores. So for him to do that, I think shows just a lot of maturity, and you know, he's been great. He's a basketball head who's, you know, always sending me clips and talking the game. So he's just wants to keep improving, keep getting better, and he's you know, happy to see it pay off for him tonight.
Brian, I just want to ask you a two-part question. Xavier Cooks is playing more minutes this year. It looks like around the 30 mark. Last year he played in kind of early 20s, late 20s. And how do you go about managing, like on your bench with Kawhi, Bull Paul, and Malawach? Between the three of those guys, they can easily start. You just feel in your mind, okay, is this time in the game for this particular player, and if he's going well, you roll with it? How do you manage that kind of depth? Because it looks like it's spoiled rotten for choice over there.
Man, it's funny when you're coaching, I feel, I really like my team, I love my team, but when you look at the other teams, I feel like it's the state of the league. And it seems like everybody announcing is always talking about, back in the day we played 40 minutes, we did all this. It's the nature of the game. And I think, that you have to have depth in these positions. And for me, with X, you go into the Melbourne game, Tim gets in every game until tonight, Tim's in foul trouble. So who do you put in the 5? And so X now, he didn't do that last year. Now he's got to play the 5, and we play Quad in the 4. And now Bull is getting minutes in the 4, and last year all he played was 3. So with those two bigs opening up and coming out, Bull got extended minutes, and Quad gets minutes because they're rotating in the front line because we've only got 2 bigs. And now the balance of the perimeters, we can play a watch a little more because in the guard spot now it's Delly and KD, and watch can play with one of those two. So, I feel like we're playing with 2 imports. You're in this, and you're looking at spots where you need help. And so part of this development is Bull and those guys in Quad playing the 4, blocking out when we're working on them playing bigger and playing smaller, and watch learning the 2 guard spot as opposed to the 3. And then you've got Jay Galloway. It's kind of like a Tui situation that all eyes are on him, and we're trying to give him an opportunity to move his career forward. But last year more so, this year I feel really comfortable with the subbing. And X, like you say, we've talked about if he's off the floor, it's kind of like right now we're hanging on. So how coaches, we constantly talk about how we use our timeouts. I'm trying to save 3 for the 4th quarter, and I'm now I used to never call subs in the first half. I'd kind of let them roll, and now I'm making sure I use both to rest those bigs. A good question.
Brian, hasn't been a happy hunting ground yet. Kings haven't won here for 3.5 years, and you come here tonight and score the biggest ever win for Sydney over Adelaide. Where does that fit in your time as coach of the Kings in terms of a win?
I did, to be truthful with you, in this return back, one of the things that we haven't had, last year we went 16-13 with 5 games to go in the season. We were in 2nd place, but we never knocked off a top team. 0-4 against Wollongong, 0-4 against Melbourne, but we did our work with the teams that we were on top of, and a lot of teams didn't. They lost games there, but so my point being, and having a win like this, and my return to Sydney, this is year 2 in the build, haven't had one like this. And when I walked I always think of the history. Some of the best games I've ever been involved in basketball were the Melbourne Tigers and the Adelaide 36ers coming into here in an environment like this. This one was KD, but we've had other issues in times back in the Phil Smythe days where you come here and it's electric and the people want to pounce. So our backs were against the wall. Coming in here tonight and getting a win here goes down as one, not just this year, but in the manner that we did it, one of the better wins that I've had in my time in the NBL.
And I'm told, shoot around this morning, that pre-game you made one of the best coaching talks pre-game about what you needed to do, how you needed to achieve it, what Kendrick was going through and stuff like that. Can you confirm?
Well, my point being, I think of my father, and there was a great story where when I was a little kid, I had a baseball hat on and I wore it on backwards, and he came and slapped me across the mug and stood me straight up and said, he grabbed the hat and he goes, put it on your head perfectly straight. And the only time, it's military, the only time you touch it, a tip of your hat is for respect, pride, tradition. And when I get into games like this, I always think of my father and I think of the military. And one of the things I said to them, from the time we walk into this township, it's a military operation. And we're like this. And I knew sometimes some stuff comes out of you and it goes there. I know this, I'm learning about this group, and they, coming into the stadium, I knew they were in.
And Delly, you've been in the trenches with Gorge for the Boomers all over the world. Tell us about how you took the speech, the rev up.
Yeah, I mean, Gorge, has always been able to tell a great story, and I think, everyone knew coming in what it was going to be like, and like Gorge said, everyone was locked in to the game plan, talking on the bench. Kelly coming on the road trip, even Lou doing a good job talking, Robbo. So it was, everyone on the whole team was in, and that's what it needs to be to get a win in this environment.
We've seen a lot of teams play blitz defense on Bryce Cotton on ball screens, often to little avail. What did you guys do differently to negate the advantage that creates?
I think one of the strengths of the team is that the winning's in the picking, in your personnel. You point, they don't do this well, they don't do that well, they do this well. One of the things we should do well with our personnel, and you go through the names, we have a nice group of 3 or 4 guys that would be tough. If Bryce went through the guys that were good guarding him, I think we've got a couple in this group. So as Delly said, it wasn't just one guy, and it wasn't me. It was the people that we've got on this team are capable of giving him, make it tough for him. And tonight, all of them, and it was a gang, one right after the other, and so that wear down factor in the grind, we had the right personnel for it.
Gorge, a couple of quick ones from me, mate. No Sean Bruce tonight, which he's been a real steady influence for you, but Tyler Robertson, I mean, how big was it to get him involved, at least hit a 3 with his first touch, but just getting, developing it and more depth at that position for you?
Really important the days leading into this, and actually we're trying to hold on to the lead, and this defensive aspect that we talked about didn't play into his hand, but he was good in our minutes, and that guard spot, that point guard spot is very important. So the opportunity from him tonight and leading into this has been really good for him, and we're excited about him moving forward.
And Delly, obviously the disappointment of losing 2 of your first 3 home games. Gorge often talks about this league being brutal across the board as far as there's no easy games. But how much confidence does this performance give the group moving forward into what are really a tough stretch of games coming up for you? You've got Tasmania, you've got Perth, the teams that people are talking about as potential championship contenders.
Yeah, it was a tough start to the season, not getting some of the results we wanted, but the approach at training has been great. Everyone's been focused on trying to find solutions, get better, and really dial in that attention to detail. So I think defensively really showed tonight with everyone on a string, locked into the scout report, and it's nice to get a result on the board and get a reward for that effort. But we know we need to keep improving on both ends as this season goes forward. It's a long season, but we're just taking it one game at a time.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Jeremy.